Thanks for clicking on this video. This is Captain Paul from TSP. I appreciate if you could like, comment, and subscribe. It helps us with the algorithm and just helps us grow. This video is a short clip from our longer form podcast that will be linked down below. If you do enjoy these clips, I would greatly appreciate it if you subscribe for more of our content. So, with no further ado, get into the video. The one thing, Andrew, I actually have a question to ask you is, like, would you date a transgender woman?
I already have.
Oh, you already have?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
date is a bit of a strong word. I've had a short fling.
Okay. So no, because it's like I was just kind of curious because like so you don't see any difference then, like at all.
The experience was 100% exactly the same. The sexual experience was exactly the same as with the woman. Like there was no differences whatsoever.
Yeah.
We got along better than I have with previous women. I guess I'm not going to comment too much on my sex life. Don't want to, but it wasn't terrible. I was fine.
Okay.
It was an experience.
Yeah.
What I'm asking
terrible.
is, I'm talking about the mechanical aspects of the physical relationship. Can you say it was 100% exactly the same?
It
was unique. It was unique.
You're stalling on it, Andrew.
It was different. It was different.
It wasn't
Okay,
terrible.
like,
It's
so-
better than any of the experiences I've had in the past 2 weeks. So I'll give him that 5-star.
Hey,
Right,
it was a positive experience.
Right. So what I'm saying is that, you know, we've had conversations in our Twitter group, and you know we've seen it time and time again where anytime, you know, as myself or Lutch go to challenge you on the, you know, you just say trans women are women, and it's like, but there's a reason why there is a name to describe them, trans women, because it's not exactly the same. And now we're kind of getting more of a fuller picture of exactly what your experience is. And that's pretty much, I think, if I don't want to really speak for Lutch, but that was what I was looking for a couple of days ago when we were talking about this. I know for a fact that the same has to be the same. And since it's not the same, it can't be the same. So when I was looking for you to kind of specify if there was a difference and there was, you wouldn't say so at all. That's why I pressed you on that.
I don't want to talk about my
was
sex life on stream.
So what?
That's
So
not something I want
we're
to do.
just speaking generally then, because I mean this is that conversation, so we can't really dance around it too much. But like, you know, what is 100% the same? Like this girl isn't going to be the same as that girl. So I mean I get what you're asking. That is the experience of sleeping with a girl the same as it is with a trans girl, and I don't know if that's a fair question. And like, you know, my obvious knee-jerk reaction to the question, would I date a trans woman, would be to say no. But I could see a scenario where you know, somebody who was very passable, like, I mean, fuck it, Blair White's hot, fucking, and I grew to know this person, and I could fall for that. I highly doubt that's going to happen, but I don't have any. There's nothing that I would intentionally do to stop that. Like,
I couldn't date someone bigger than me, man. You know.
Well, I can tell you from the way that I approach dating.
Real quick, though, at the same time. At the same time, I'm not going to seek that out. So if I know that you're a male, then that's already a block in my mind that I'm just not interested in this. So it would have to be a situation where I just didn't know and came to love this person enough and then found out. So that would have to be the reality of the situation. So I don't see it ever happening, but theoretically there's nothing that, you know, that I would say, like, if I was in that position, I wouldn't be like, okay, well, I love you, but I'm not dating you because you're a man.
Well, I can tell you from my experience, the way that I approach it, if a woman has any fake body parts, all her photos are filtered, she's got surgery on her face, she's got fake nails, she's got fake hair, any of those things, she's automatically disqualified. Because if you're not authentic, I'd really want nothing to do with you, because you're already telling me you're a liar just straight up in the bio. So
100%.
it is an instant left swipe for me. So since I'm very hard line when it comes to authenticity with the people that I choose to get involved with, then if you're not an authentic female, I'm simply not interested, for the same principle as I'm not interested in a woman with fake breasts. It's an automatic disqualifier.
So, Dr. Evil, on that, I want to ask you a question. If an individual suffered a burn and they got plastic surgery to replace damaged skin, and now they look a little different because of that, do you view that as an alteration?
I view that as something that I view it the same way as I view women with moles. I know I'm going to stare at it all the time and be disrespectful. So I'm not even going to put them through that. There are certain imperfections that I know that my eye is just going to go there, and they're going to feel my eyes constantly going to the imperfection. I'm not even going to do that to them.
The reason why I ask that question is because often there's a fine line. For a lot of trans individuals, they feel mutilated when they have organs that don't match what they feel.
They're not, though. There's a difference between somebody who was burned and somebody who was just born in a way that they feel is different. Those are not.
If the experience is the same in the brain, is there really a difference?
Yes.
There is. There is a difference. One, the person was mutilated, and one, the person feels that it is. I agree with you that the
phantom limb syndrome.
They may feel it's the same way. But this goes back to what Lewis was saying earlier, that you can't just transition yourself to be a taller person. I feel like I'm on top of the world sometimes, but that's not the reality. And there's no for men or women, there's no avenue in which, whether it's height or weight, that you can pretend that you're not what it is. I mean, even the fat acceptance movement is about accepting the fact that you are fat. It's not pretending that you're not.
Yeah.
And just because you feel skinny, you're going to identify as a skinny person. That's not reality. And it's okay. And when it comes to, hey, again, the person sitting next to me on the train talking about the weather, if they're fat as fuck and in their mind they think they're skinny, that is irrelevant to my life and to the conversation that we're having. But when it comes to us dating and having a physical relationship, then what your physical body is or is not is relevant.
So yeah, I would agree with that line of argumentation if you would say that a person who has suffered from burns getting any type of treatment, grafting, whatever, that would be an alteration, therefore unattractive to you.
Well,
right?
For me, I understand the importance of that, but we're talking about somebody that has suffered tremendous damage. You know that surgeons refuse to perform surgery on people that believe that one or more of their limbs need to be amputated because they don't believe that those limbs actually belong to them. When they go to surgeons and they say, hey, I've got this leg, I don't feel like it belongs in my body, the surgeon looks at that as an ethical issue and does not, he refers them to a therapist.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because therapy is the solution there. For trans individuals, and we have documentation on this, their rate of suicidality goes down after getting gender-affirming healthcare. That's hormones,
it goes down like
surgery.
1%. It's like 42 before and 41 post. Like the numbers do not.
It's statistically insignificant.
Here, I have a study that saw a 76% reduction in attempted suicidal ideation.
Here's the crux of this issue. Is that now we're at a stage where reality has been split, where I'm sure you can find a study that will say this, that, or whatever, and we're not, and multiple and a meta-analysis, because there is people who are operating in the under the reality or under the assumption that their reality is what their lived experience when it's not. And so that's seeping into our institutions. And so I'm sure that there are, I mean, look at the fucking, what was that Army commercial where they were.
Oh, the two moms. Yeah, the two moms and all that. And then actually the recruiting went down by
the Army. Yeah. So, of course, there's people who hold your beliefs who are in the sciences.
All right. So if they're wrong.
Is somebody getting greenies back there, Lewis?
The cat's taking a shit, actually.
Oh, okay. Jimmy Dean thought he recognize greenies. We are very, I don't know, some people may be pro-trans, maybe anti-trans here, but everybody is pro Mr. Clinton.
That's right.
Oh, 100%. He looks adorable.
I think a lot of this argument comes to when it comes to dating is just, I think preferences aren't, inherently a bad thing, right? And
They
I think,
aren't. It's a matter of how you express them.
But I also think that being open and transparent in a relationship is the most important thing off the rip, right? Like obviously not oversharing in the middle where in the beginning where you seem like you're fucking crazy, but being open and honest with the person, like, hey, I'm this, like, hey, like, you know what, like, I'm a fucking Scottish fat fuck, here I am, like that's
and that's exactly kind of the direction I was going to ask. Like, what if there is somebody who has, this is that big a part of their life where they've decided to transition and identify and all that other, or whether they transition or not, but they're coming out as trans or whatever it is. If that's not in your profile, then that's already deceptive. Because you're that's like if I was talking about myself and my interests, and I didn't bring up the fact that I was talking about football, and I just didn't talk about the fact that I like UFC because I thought people would have a lesser opinion and see that differently. That's inherently deceptive. Is it a big deal? No, but those are it's the preferences, and so it comes back to the question of why is it wrong, or how does it come down to the way you express it, as you responded to Captain Paul?
Yeah, so for example, it's just a matter of the environment. So if I say that I only want to date white women, and then I say it in a room full of Black, Indian, Latino women.
But why would you say it in a room full of Indian and Latino women? It's not relevant there. That's that's analogous to sitting on the train. You don't have to announce to them that you don't want to date them. But if they're coming up to date you, and there's only one white girl there, and you're only interested in the white girls, then
If I were the type of person that were only interested in white women and I expressed that preference, I likely would not go into a room that was filled with only Black women and then express that preference. That would be stupid.
Yeah, you go onto the app because there are white women on the app.
Bumble is a room that pretty much encompasses everybody in the world. And rather in that case, there's a 0.1% or 1% of that room is saying, I'm going to barge my way into this particular category.
absolutely.
And I think that I don't think that's completely analogous.
Well, I think it'd be me signing up on blackpeoplemeet.com expecting other Caucasians.
That would be like me on Christian Mingle.
Yeah,
Don't go to milfhunter.com and say you don't want a single mom,
No!
I don't know.
Yo! Go ahead, Andrew. Sorry.
Like in that situation, you would be going out of your way to specifically enter a room filled with category X and say, yo, I'm only interested in category Y. Fuck category X.
Exactly.
That'd be like me going on wehateanarude.com and I'm just looking for Anarude.
That's not where we're at. That's not where we're at.
I wish I was that famous. I wish I was that famous.
So going back to the idea that there's a degree of deception to leave out something that is so
pertinent.
Well, I would argue in many ways that deception is necessary for trans individuals, because there are stories where trans women would say, I'm trans, and the person would say, oh, I'm kind of into that, only enough to get their social information or any type of contact information, then proceed to harass them. Trans women I know have dealt with that. So there could be a reason for wanting to keep
there are times I go outside and I fear that I may be attacked on the street, but it doesn't mean that everybody should be, everybody's, freedom to traverse the street should be affected, because in my one particular situation, I think I have a special need, like to trample over the rights of everybody else, because a very small subsection of the population, thinks that they got a very unique niche, almost never to happen, because the pool is so small to begin with, and then the people that are just like militantly wanting to fuck with their lives is an even smaller pool, and then we're going to basically have everybody else put up with deceptive people that they would rather not deal with in their life, which they probably are really dealing with a lot of deception in their life. And then here's one area where they could do without that, but everybody's got to put up with that because this person may or may not run into somebody who may or may not want to harass them. We've had guys be lured into being robbed off of these dating apps. They think they're meeting a woman, they go and meet her, but we're not changing the dating app rules because somebody could wake up with their pants and their shoes taken and their Gucci belt and their accounts emptied. We're not advocating for us to change everything in society because of the guys that have been beaten up, robbed, and or killed, thinking that they're meeting a woman, and then the goons come into the hotel room or whatever it is. Right? We know that that's a rarity, and we don't change all of society for it.